The number 13 Utah Utes take care of business at Sun Devil Stadium, defeating ASU 34-13. I'm Eliav Gabay, joined by Jordan Ham. And Jordan, obviously, the main storyline, it was Sean Aguano's first game as interim head coach. What were your first impressions?
First impressions is, he preached Ohana throughout the week. Family, he was all about that, coming out on the field, arms locked with his players. Like, that speaks to really who Sean Aguano is, and I think those are the building blocks he's trying to put in right now. It could be a very real possibility that the first 3 games of his tenure, they go 0-3 because they're playing ranked teams, they're playing a couple of really, really good teams, but to get a roster to not splinter that way, that comes with the culture that he's trying to build right now. So he's kind of like, flying the plane while building it. So there's going to be a lot that I think he's going to have to do in the next couple of weeks to make sure that happens. On the field, we saw things a little more wide open, a little bit more passing. The results weren't quite there, but we did see, it wasn't quite the Herm Edwards, just run between the tackles, try to control the clock. They did take more shots, it felt like. It's just a really good Utah defense that I don't know if you're going to see those results right off the bat.
Right, and to your point, not too much went right for the Sun Devils tonight, but what adjustments can we expect later on as Aguano gets a little bit more used to the position? Yeah,
I think just adding more and more to that passing game, to the offense. Emory Jones wasn't particularly great tonight. I felt like there were a couple of overthrows in some key moments. They did play from behind the chains a little bit. He got sacked a couple of times, and that's not necessarily on him. The first couple sacks, it was like he hiked it and barely had any time to do anything. Yeah. I feel like Utah is almost like the worst team in the conference to try a bunch of new things out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with USC. USC barely won against a good Oregon State team. Are they going to be coming off a high? Or is it going to be, all right, we need to really shore things up and make sure that we're making that Pac-12, Pac-12 South push. So going to be interesting the next couple of weeks, but I feel like those are those first steps. I feel like we're in step 1 of 8 or 9 right now with Sean Aguano to see what the true picture is.
And when it comes to that true picture, what are those silver linings you saw from today? I know there weren't too many, but what were some silver linings you saw that they can take to USC and when they're hosting Washington the week after that?
Yeah, I didn't see a quit, and that was a good thing to see. I keep likening this almost to, and ASU fans might not like this, but I liken it to U of A last year with Jed Fish. They won 1 game. The wins and losses weren't there, but they played hard. They were in games a lot. Things bounced their way a little bit differently. That might be a very different season. Now we're seeing them reaping those rewards and those benefits. So I think Sean Aguano is doing everything right off the field. We'll see if that now translates on the field and if he has a shot long term to go ahead and do that. The other thing is, some guys we haven't really seen a ton on the field now got to play. Javen Jacobs had a big kick return. Chad Johnson Jr. was in there. We saw some things mixed around on defense. Part of that was injury, but you're now seeing other guys get some opportunities. Maybe all of a sudden, opposing teams need to look at a little bit different tape now, and maybe there's an advantage for Sean Aguano and that staff.
Well, Sean Aguano and his Sun Devils will head to USC next week to face the number 7 Trojans. For Jordan Ham, I'm Eliav Gabay. This is the Sports 360 postgame.